Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to the channel, man. Obviously, it's been a crazy 24 hours. Obviously, news came out that Sean Payton would not be the coach of the New Orleans Saints next year. Obviously, best coach in franchise history. Won't go through all the accolades again, but Super Bowl winning coach, one of the greatest offensive minds this game has ever seen. And now the Saints will have to look to replace that. I think it's a couple options we could go, and we'll talk about them right now. Option number one, I call this the same faces option, man. Obviously, the Saints have one of the best coaching staffs in the NFL. Pete Carmichael as the OC, Dennis Allen as the DC, with obviously Sean Payton, who is heading that, who's obviously going to be out. We could go this route, and as what I mean by this is, keep everybody intact, kind of give some guys promotions, hire from within. And I think the safest bet, if we do that, would be to appoint Dennis Allen the head coach. Obviously, this defense has been pretty damn good for the last 3 years, basically since 2018. Defense has been pretty good. Dennis Allen is a former head coach, didn't do well, was with the Raiders. Give him a pass on that. Team was not as good as this Saints team will be. And you just bump him up. You bump him up, let him be the head coach. Pete Carmichael, who's the OC. Do you give him a chance at being the OC, or do you look in, to bring in another guy? I think he can get a shot. He's been OC and under Sean Payton since 2009. That's 13 years of experience under the best offensive mind of all time. So I think he gets a shot at offensive coordinator, an actual real shot, because obviously he held that title. But we all know Sean Payton ran the show, so they can give Pete Carmichael that shot. And then the only issue I see them running into is who do you promote to defensive coordinator? Obviously, you got Ryan Nielsen, who's the assistant head coach / defensive line coach. And then you got Chris Richard. I think it'll come down between those two. I feel like whoever doesn't get that job will be moving on. So it's almost going to be like, who do you value more? Who do you think fits best with this team? I think a lot of people will say Chris Richard. A lot of people, or some people will say Ryan Nielsen. I'm probably leaning on more of the side of Chris Richard at the moment. He's definitely getting interviews for defensive coordinator jobs as it is right now. So keeping him would be big. And that's just my same faces. If we want to go that route, I would not be mad at it. It keeps the team intact and things like that. That's all the pros to it. Also, there are going to be cons too. I think the cons is you're kind of still in that Sean Payton era. You're still in that Drew Brees, Sean Payton era. Same faces, same teammates, same players in the building. Eventually, that's going to have to go. It's going to have to go. It's going to be a year where we don't bring up Brees or we don't bring up Payton at all. And if, keep these same faces around, these same people that's under Sean Payton, same people under Sean Payton coaching tree, it'll never go away. So that's the only con, I can really see to it. Option number two, blow it all up. Blow it up. Get from under the Sean Payton / Drew Brees era, bring in some fresh blood, and let's see what we can do. Obviously, this would be the more sexy option. This would be the more controversial option. This option will get talked about more. First option is kind of boring. This option is going to bring a lot of different things to the table. Whole new coaching staff, a coach that may want to bring in his own coaching staff. So this basically will be starting over from zero. And that might not be a bad idea, man. But there are some coaching candidates out there. I'll just kind of go through a few that's, been hot names, hot topics out. Brian Leftwich, obviously he's the OC in Tampa. I don't think we'll go that route. So I do think he's going to be a good coach, though. I think he's going to get the Jacksonville job, obviously former Jacksonville quarterback. Then you got Kellen Moore. It's almost like he's that Sean Payton guy, offensive coordinator at Dallas. Young guy, kind of how Sean Payton was. And he's the hottest name out right now. I also don't think the Saints will go that route. So I'll just leave him out of this too. Jim Caldwell, he's been getting a lot of attention lately. I don't think the Saints will go that route either. The top three candidates I probably have right now, top four candidates I think the Saints will probably go after. I'll start off with the offensive guys. I think Josh McDaniels, I think he's going to be kind of an outside shot. Obviously, he agreed to take over the Colts in 2018. That fell through for some reason. Obviously, he's been a New England OC for the longest. Also coached the Broncos for a while. Proven offensive guy with Tom Brady. Got the Patriots to the playoffs this year. Won the game, only throwing the ball 3 times with Mac Jones. He's a proven guy. He would probably be like number 5 or number 6 on my list, but I think he's a pretty good coach. Number 2 on my offensive guys, Brian Daboll. Buffalo's offense has been pretty explosive. I'm not going to compare Winston and Josh Allen, but when you think about quarterbacks with big arms, that kind of, it's a translation there, basically. I don't know if Winston's going to be back as our quarterback, but Winston has a big arm. Josh Allen has a big arm. They can kind of, they have some similarities there. And the balls had the Bills hot. Josh Allen's been in the MVP talks and things like that. And obviously the number 1 offensive guy on the market is Eric Bieniemy. I think I pronounced that right. Eric Bieniemy, obviously the Chiefs OC. His name has been the hottest name on the market for the last 2 to 3 years. It's been said that he's turned down jobs because he wants, to have a good job. And there's been a lot of talk saying, he doesn't call plays. Does he call plays? Andy Reid came out and said he calls plays. So that just kind of put that on that. So I think he's the number 1 offensive guy. If we're going to go after offensive guy, I would like it to be him. I think he deserves a chance to be an not an offensive coordinator, to be a head coach in this league. And with the Saints, we'll go from there. I think if he comes in, I don't think Dennis Allen stays. I think Dennis Allen is going to find him another job. Somewhere he can probably be a head coach. If he stays for DC, that'll be perfect. If we can get Eric Bieniemy and Dennis Allen both on his staff, I think that'll be the perfect situation for this team. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. The last guy I'll mention, defensive guy. All right, let me start off by saying this. If we're gonna hire a defensive guy, you're basically taking away Dennis Allen's defense, who's shown to be top 5 the last 3 years in the NFL, trying to teach them a whole new defense, and hopefully they can replicate being a top 5 defense. That's why I'm kind of against hiring a defensive guy, especially if Dennis Allen's going to probably leave if you bring in a defensive guy, because then his role, just becomes minimized. So I think if you bring in a defensive guy, you better be damn sure he knows what he's doing, and he's the right guy for this team, because defense has been great. That's why I'm definitely on board if we're going to bring in somebody new that they're on the offensive side of the ball. But there's one defensive guy, if we bring him in, Brian Flores. Obviously, he's shown he could be a head coach in this league. The entire NFL world was surprised when Dolphins fired him this year. Started off on a 7-game losing streak, ended up going on a 7-game winning streak. They had the worst offensive line in football. Tua can't throw the ball past 10 yards. He did a hell of a job with that defense. That defense was elite. Obviously, they played the Saints. They made Ian Book look bad. Obviously, we had a lot of replacement players that game and things like that. But he did make the Saints look like a pretty damn bad team when we faced them. So, obviously, he's a good head coach. He's obviously a great defensive guy. But, like I said, you'll be trying to replace Dennis Allen, who's had this defense as a top 5 defense in the NFL the past 3 years. Basically, the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, his entire tenure with the Saints. So it'll be difficult replacing that production, or I guess lack thereof, by other teams if Flores was to come to the Saints. But it's a big reason why a lot of teams want him, and obviously it's a touchy subject right now. So I'm not even gonna dive too far into it. I'm just gonna mention it. I'm gonna end this video. Everywhere Flores has gone or has been connected to, it's because the same reason I think he got fired from the Dolphins. He wants Deshaun Watson as his quarterback. Now, obviously, those cases and stuff is still going on. But if you're telling me the Saints could deliver Brian Flores and Deshaun Watson in one off season, you're telling me we get a new head coach and a new quarterback? Seemed like 06 vibes to me, and I'm going to leave it at that. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's going to happen, but there's been a lot of talk that he wants Deshaun Watson as his quarterback wherever he goes. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens with him. Like I said, I'm on board for an offensive guy or bringing in Dennis Allen. My mind could change. This is new. Sean Payton just left not even 24 hours ago. So my mind definitely can and probably will change on who I want to be the guy for this team. But as of right now, Dennis Allen or a close second between Bieniemy and Brian Flores, with the caveat if he can bring Deshaun Watson. But that'll wrap up. Let me know who y'all want in the comments below. Should we keep everything the same, bring some new blood, a guy I didn't mention, whatever. We'll talk about it in the comments, man. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz that they tell y'all to do. I don't know why they tell y'all to do it, but I just know if you hit that subscribe button and turn the notifications bell on, you won't miss a video from me. This is the Boot Tragedies, and I'm out.